Welcome back, insiders. I'm just now wrapping up another trading day, roughly around 2 hours. That's how long my trading recording is. And I'm down about 40% off the highs. Nothing is looking that good, so I don't think it's really worth for me to keep trading. And my highs were pre-market. That's where the best tickers were today, at least for my trading style. So we had JXJT, which I'll pop up on the second screen. Really nice ascending wedge right here I want to talk about. And then we had NNOX, a really nice front side here as well that I absolutely missed, and I want to start off showing you guys these two moves. After the market opened, we had some really intense action for like 10 minutes on CHNR after it halted down 30%. This was pretty brutal and I lost here, and I just couldn't get myself to trade this move even though it was pretty good. You had to buy really high, like Tom was saying. It was not pulling back. By the time it did pull back, it was over. We also had PLCE, which I just saw a little bit late. And unfortunately, I missed this front side, which I think was probably the best one of the day. I just saw it a little bit late, somewhere in this area, and then I just felt like it was extended, which it kind of was, but there was definitely another one or two setups in there. Since I did get asked, though, about my trend lines as they are popping up in my charts more often, that's what I wanted to focus on in this recap video, because those have been working out really well for me. So I'll explain more about my trend lines, show you guys the live trades pre-market and at the market open, at least the ones we can pull some lessons out of, and then I'll show you guys my daily stats for the day. So it's 8:48 a.m. Eastern right now. JXJT is still moving higher, and I'm just adjusting my volume a little bit here. And I like this move. I went in with classic, $5,000 starter size, a little lot. Remember, 4x is my ideal size, so 4 times these starter lots. I'm looking for that push over 10. It is stalling out a little bit, so I am tightening up my limit orders. I actually, in hindsight, I don't really like how I did this because I'm leaving a lot of profits on the table, but it was stalling out. So I go for the same trade again, getting a little bit more size, same idea. It felt like it needed a little bit of a pullback for that last pop to 10. But you can see how it's kind of delayed. It's not really pushing as hard as you would expect. That quick pullback, that quick pop higher. It did finally end up crawling higher, but it was definitely a grinder and something I didn't feel super comfortable with trading. I like a little bit faster resolution that I really like. Now at this point, I did notice something going on here. There is a little bit of a high here, high here, high here, and a higher low, right? So I was like, okay, there's something going on here that I feel like is a classic setup, because lately we've been getting some really classic chart patterns like ascending channels or descending channels, ascending, descending wedges, really nice descending trend lines that end up breaking to the front side. And a lot of those trend lines are great re-entry points when it retests them. So just really clean, classic, typical chart patterns. And so that's why I've been drawing them a lot more often, and it's definitely making me a lot of money. But if you've been watching my recaps, you understand my problem right now, or at least it was more of a problem, was giving back too much profit because of the volatility and often chasing down the ladder with my sell order, which I now have Control F to stop out quickly. But I think I've talked about that enough. You can watch out my other videos where I explain that. So I'm going for this trade a few more times, just trying to ride this front side as much as possible, giving back a little bit here. So it's not the cleanest trading on my end. Here you'll see I like this 9 EMA. Remember, we're always trying to ride that front side higher and hold it as long as possible for that next continuation up. The only thing I don't like about this trade is the fact that the 5-minute is quite extended off that 9 EMA. Just like you see here on that 5-minute, how it's quite extended on the 9 EMA, that makes me a little bit nervous because we have that downside potential. So I'm looking for that quick pop higher. I'm already kind of getting shaken out of some of my trades because, like I mentioned, I just feel like there's a more downside potential and it didn't really pop yet. We already had a few pullbacks that popped, so I'm really nervous for that bigger sell-off. It did end up holding like I thought it would, popped up higher, and I tried to chase with some orders, so I should have had a little bit better conviction. Anyway, at this point, I do notice, okay, there's definitely a little bit of a ascending trend line right here that I want to map out. And when I mapped that out, I was like, well, this actually looks like a classic ascending wedge, right? We have higher highs and higher lows, and there's a narrowing price action going on over here. And ascending wedges, as hopefully you guys know, typically do break to the downside, so it is a bearish pattern. However, we didn't have that last retest somewhere in this area. You typically do see like 3 retests and then the sell-off. So that's what I'm looking for here, and that was the thesis for my next trade going forward. The price starts moving higher, and I'm like, oh man, you know what? that my thesis is right. It's actually going to pop higher here, so I'm getting more aggressive with my fills. As you can see, I'm chasing up the order book a little bit, but trading is all about good entry, so I'm not trying to chase too high. I'm already in with 1,000 shares, looking for that final move to $10. Now I'm in with 1,500 shares, which is a pretty solid position size. It's like $14,000. I'm down $200 on the trade, but it's still going according to plan. Also, the sell volume here is quite low, which gives me quite a bit of confidence. I don't really like the 5-minute, how it looks like it's almost breaking the trend line, so I'm a little bit cautious about that. Right now I'm down 300 on the trade, but you can tell there's not a lot of selling pressure, and then buyers do eventually come back in. I could even considered sizing down one more time and the price goes up higher. I do take some profits off the table because we had all these fake outs, and taking some more profits off the table. Little base hit. I probably could have held this move a little bit longer in hindsight, but we just had so many fake outs before, so I didn't really feel super comfortable, and it didn't actually end up breaking over 10 like I thought it would. So I guess it was a good idea that I took profits off the table. There's so many times where it pops up and sells off again, just to retest it, and you feel like you could have done three or more trades in that action. So I'll take my 752. This was $1,000 spread trade because I was down 300 and then I made 700 plus on that one. So that was a pretty good clean trade. And that's ultimately what I was waiting for. A lot of these were just scratches, trying to figure out the movement on it. And then I finally understood this ticker, drew the trend lines, and then was able to get profitable. At this point, I don't do any more trades on JXJT. Like I said, ascending wedges do typically break to the downside, so I'm not very optimistic this is going to hold. It did try to break here and pop right back up, so that is kind of bullish, I have to admit. But it still didn't feel like it was worth trading for me, even though the sell volume was here. It just felt like you could get stuck in a big red candle any second. So at this point, I'm up 750 on the day, and just looking for other tickers. I do notice NNOX popping up, and I should have really got dialed in. It just broke a bit of a high. Not yet a high of day, as you'll see on my second screen. So this was right here in this area, the top right. So it wasn't high of day yet, but it did make a new temporary high, and it was starting to trend to the upside. So I should have been taking note, plus the volume was not bad for a $10 stock. DTSS was also popping up, looking pretty interesting. I went for a little bit of a 9 EMA retest here, one of my classic front side trades. Worked out pretty good, but I just didn't hold very long. I don't know. It's a second big green day on DTSS, and sometimes I don't like pushing it too hard on those tickers. Then I check out Lilly really quickly, the weight loss drug, which is just absolutely on fire. I did notice Cramer came out with a little message here saying Eli Lilly's weight loss drug could be the best selling drug of all time, says Jim Cramer. So maybe it's time to sell. Okay, back from the side tangent, I'm still looking at different tickers to keep trading, and at this time, NNOX is moving up, and this is the one I should be trading. It's making really nice clean moves, good front side here. I should be looking to size in somewhere in this area. Sell volume's going down, front side is still true. It's a bit extended, but we're in that ranging territory, and I think at this point we're at new high a day. So this was the ticker for me to get aggressive on, and definitely snoozed on this nice little front side. That probably could have put me well over 1,500 on the day, just catching any of these little pops. So now it's market open, or 2 seconds, 1, 2, and until the market open. And I'm like, what do I trade right now? Because nothing looks too great. I should have actually been more focused on CHNR right now, but I end up going back to JXJT just because I'm green on the ticker, looking for that classic red to green move, pulls back 6%. I probably should have been a little bit more ready to go right here, and I did get a nice entry, but it didn't break out. I gave it 2-3 attempts here, and even more, 3-4 attempts here, and they didn't break out. And that's when I was like, uh-oh. And I should have just closed the order right here. Should have just closed it. I don't know why I didn't. That was a mistake on my end, and I end up stopping out. So I give back from the highs on this one. And I actually go for the same trade again when here it tried to break lower, but it couldn't. And I was thinking, man, like, this ticker could instantly reverse, shoot over 9, and it could be a really good red to green move. So I hesitated there, but I get this pullback, so that was pretty nice. Again, I'm up like 150. I take that trade, quick little profit there. I use Control F to get out quickly. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, did I just get really lucky? Because this just doesn't feel like it's going to break higher again. Ultimately, it doesn't keep selling off here. So I was like, okay, yeah, good thing I didn't trade it, because I was just about to trade it again for that one more attempt, maybe back over 9. So at this point, I'm like, ugh, let's leave this one alone. There's a good chance I'm going to give back on this one. So I just feel really uncomfortable. Now at this point, I see CHNR pop up. It did get halted. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, finally a ticker that's not overextended. Let me see if I can buy the open pullback on this one on a retrace to this trend line, which has been working really well, but this time it doesn't. So it's also this sketchy Chinese ticker that's below VWAP. So I don't want to overshadow that pretty significant fact. Here we go, the open, and 2 seconds delayed. There's the pullback, holds. So I'm like, okay, didn't flush lower. And literally right as I entered the trade, it ends up flushing. And I put a limit order there, which I probably should have just controlled F. It wasn't that bad. I still got out. Actually, the bad part is the percentage loser was pretty bad. I was only in this with 500 shares, which is pretty small amount. So I think I took over a 10% loser on this one. This is a pretty brutal loss. Yep, double checked, and I was right. I actually took a 13.5% loser on it. So I used small size because I wasn't very sure. And you can see I never got sure on CHNR in the future, and I just used smaller and smaller size. And then I was thinking to myself, man, what am I even doing? I'm trading this with tiny size, and this is kind of ridiculous. I had no trust left in this ticker. I wish I didn't size down this much, but mentally, I lost trust in that ticker on that flush. And I was just giving back more and more profits. But I think I avoided a bullet here, even though I took a massive percent loser just by using smaller size. And that, unfortunately, messed me up on that nice front side it did have. So here I noticed PLCE, and I think I'm writing the Discord right now. Hey guys, PLCE is looking really good. What I should have been doing is just trading this ticker. I do like writing. I could have probably written the Discord at the same time, but I just hesitated a little bit too long, ends up halting, and then it continues all the way to 38 in this beautiful frontside move. So shame on me for not jumping on PLCE. Who cares about CHNR? That is water under the bridge. I don't want to waste mental energy on it. And at this point, I'm just looking for different tickers to trade, but nothing is really working out for me. CHNR finally crawls back higher, holds. I just want to point out this move right here. This is a perfect 5-minute breakout over $3, and we're having a micro 1-minute pullback and breaking higher. This would have been the best trade probably after the market opened. I didn't see it till after the fact, and I was kicking myself about that. By the way, CHNR did have this nice low float of 2.69 million. So exactly what we're looking for big momentum. Anyway, CHNR just keeps pulling up, and well, you'll see it here. I didn't get any trades on this front side, so shame on me for that. I mean, this is the money. This was a 280% front side, and I missed it. I did get back green here, but like I said, I was using tiny position sizes. And if I just used, my classic lot size, I'd probably be up over 1,000 today. I don't know, somehow I talked myself out of it just because I had no trust in this ticker. And sometimes that happens, and maybe it is fine because it was easy to give back on CHNR. I was just really nervous about those pullbacks. So I'm ending the day up $560, as you'll see here, which translates to 555 if you minus the total fees, which are reg fees, which come from the NASDAQ and other exchanges. They have nothing to do with my broker, TD Ameritrade, ThinkorSwim platform. But because I did so many small size trades right at the end, my average size did go down 18% today, which is not really what I want to see. But I do like the fact that my average win was bigger than my average loss, even though the percent wasn't necessarily the case. So I was using bigger size on my winners. That's a good sign. It meant I was not sizing down to my losers, which I made a mistake earlier and I wanted to correct. So I like the fact that I was focused on correcting that. So it's not the biggest green week so far, but at least I'm having a little bit more traction than last week. I just haven't had really any big green days this month, which is a bit unfortunate, especially because all the momentum. I just had so many times where I give back so much profit. My biggest mistakes lately were just not being able to hold on to that profit as much. I've been making some nice green trades, just giving back way too much. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and dropping that like. I'll see you next time.